conduct this event, I think, appeared some time ago once we realized that GenAI capabilities are becoming richer and richer. A lot of people are talking about that you can just put one prompt and get a working solution without any software knowledge. That's probably exaggeration, but definitely GenAI capabilities today look at least promising, especially with this agent mode, right? So this is well, it's not very new. It appeared probably half of a year ago, right? This agent mode, and so what we are going to do? We are going today to solve some, well, close to real life solutions. To do some live coding session and try to solve some close to real life solutions to see what we can achieve using like engineering knowledge and these GenAI capabilities, especially this agent mode. So Arthur, can you just briefly explain what is agent mode, what is the difference, what we had before and what we have now?
Yeah, sure. I would say agent mode, it's like an autonomous pair programmer. So you're able to delegate some work like refactoring, implementing new feature, migrating to a new version of .NET, for instance, if you talk about the .NET, yeah, and so on. More or you're able to extend some capability of agent mode with providing your custom tools, because if you take a look on the agent mode, it contains some predefined tools that can create a new project, create some folders, is able to interact with Git, yes, and also you're able to extend this capability. For instance, you are able to install some MCP servers related to, for instance, Docker. So it will be able to create some Docker containers, run it, and so on. As well as you're able to provide, as I said, your custom tools related to your project or your purpose. So it's some, I believe, interesting features that enable us to provide a lot of context for agent and related to your project, related to your stuff. And so
yeah,
it's interesting.
Will it be using the scope of your project as a primary source of truth?
Yes, it will be used.
I think you can also attach like you can attach specific files.
Yes.
Like put some pictures in case, for example, if you want to align the designs of your front-end solution with a particular picture and etc. So you can put some context. So the biggest difference for me is that like previously we interacted with this GenAI Copilot tool through like request reply interactions, and the result was just text generated by GenAI. But the agent mode, it can also run the tasks. It can run specific things, and as you've mentioned, it can scaffold, it can start the application, and etc. So that's like a huge difference. So yes, we are going to use this agent mode with GPT 4.1. We can also we will probably be able to switch to Claude Sonnet version of the of this agent, but it's called premium, right? And probably I have in my account, I have some limitations on those models usage. So this one, GPT 4.1, it's quite good still, yeah, and it is included in a standard models. So we debated a little bit what task we are going to solve today, and well, there are obviously some standard things like you can do some to-do application and etc. So this one is also quite standard. We are going to implement a blogging application where you can put some posts, put some comments, view posts, and etc. But we are going to make it multi-tier, so there will be a front-end application, and there will be a backend, obviously .NET backend API powered by minimal API. There will be also a database to make it like more closer to real applications. So the functionality, yeah, we would like, well, obviously that's a lot of scope. We don't really know where we will be at the end of this session, but at least we wanted to make some basic crude things, visualize everything on the UI. Then we will see, yeah, so what we can achieve, because the purpose of the session is to see how can we as developers, what benefits we can get from this GenAI capabilities of this Copilot tool and other tools, similar tools. Will we be boosted by it, or the what will be the quality of the code, and etc. And folks who joined the session, you can help us to put proper prompts in case if you have some bright ideas. So let's collaborate all together, and let's see what we will get after this hour. So right. So should we start, right, folks? I think we should. And what will be the first step? I think we need to spin up some API and the front-end solution, right?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, let's make a start. Let's ask this Copilot to spin up a .NET application with minimal API for us. Hell, okay, so I'm going to start prompting. Okay, hello, I'm going.
And it's
Okay.
like communication in English. Yeah, it's, Andrei Karpatny. It's I believe it's for my famous people related to AI said that a new programming language is English now. The most growing. Yeah.
Yeah. So it started asking me to open an empty folder. Okay, so let's open an empty folder. Well, okay. So I thought it's empty. Okay, let me repeat.
It's like,
okay.
Why do I need to open it?
So what it tries to run .NET new web API. So it selected the template. For some reasons, it also asks no HTTPS, and then it tries to pass use minimal API flag. Okay, so let's see. Probably this command will not work. Okay. Okay, it worked. Now it tries to build. Okay, let's see.
What version did it choose as a .NET version?
I think it chose the version that was like a default one on my PC. So probably this is 9th version. Okay, now it can run. Okay. So let's basically start exploring what we got. So this is a typical minimal web API project based on standard templates. So it didn't generate something like from scratch. It just used the templates, which is probably good. So let's see what we have here. Okay, so it's .NET 9, and I think it works. Let's see. Okay, so I have Google Chrome, and probably I'll be able to get this. And Okay, so to check that it works, I'm going to navigate to weather forecast endpoint. Okay, so it worked. Right, that's good. And also what I can see here, there are tasks, Copilot tasks here. This one is the task that run my .NET API. So I can stop it anytime and ask it to run it one more time. Okay, so now let's create probably a Next.js application, right? And connect it to the backend. Probably Next.js always comes with React. I'm not a big front-end expert.
Yes, it is a meta framework around React.
Okay.
But
So
I believe it's a purpose, yeah, why we'd like to show it. Because if you don't familiar with some technology, you're able to ask a system to help you.
Yeah. Okay, so now I need to hit some yes and no. Tailwind, we will use Tailwind. Yes, we will. Turbo Pack, I'm not sure what is that. Okay, so it created block frontend folder, and it starts doing some npm packages. That's my understanding. So let's see what we are getting here. What is public? Okay. Not modules. So we have here a layout, and we have here a page, right, that displays some Next.js things, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so let's see. Okay, it's still restoring the packages.
And I believe you should say, like, when you ask something, it will generate some execution plan, and after each step, you should agree or disagree, yeah, with the provided solution from agent. So it's also good because you're able to control all changes that will be made by agent. So
yeah,
I was trying the cursor ID kind of demo thing in our days, and the idea was almost the same. So there is some agent or kind of things integrated into cursor ID, and you're asking to do something, and in the end of activity, you need to apply or discard the result of generation kind of thing.
well, yeah, cursor, probably it's too fancy for us. We are a little bit conservative engineers, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So the packages were restored. Now let's see. Okay, so it start generating some code. For example, it generated this API request to weather forecast endpoint. Interesting. Okay.
yeah, but because you said and connect it, yeah, to our log, yeah.
Well, that's what I wanted to achieve. So I want to validate that I can successfully communicate with my API.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so run the command in the background, terminal cd. Okay, so it will run the command. So let's see what it generated. So I think it got rid of some Next.js related things, and it placed it. It fetched the forecasts and it placed them on the page. Okay, so looks quite valid. So let's see what we will get. So again, it started a new terminal, and it ran the front-end application. Okay. For some reasons, okay, 3000 port was already in use, so it started on 3001. Okay, so let's see what we have here. So it's compiling because it's Next.js. It needs to compile. Okay, there is an error. So what's the error? Okay, so we see here use effect hook, and so we have here a hint. Yes,
user
so
class.
So
use client.
we need to put a use client. So first of all, let's agree with everything. Yeah, we can review what was generated by Copilot, and we can agree with file by file, or we can make some changes, or we can keep everything. Yeah. So now let's fix this error and put this use client directive. I think it should be like this one, right? Okay.
Yes.
So fetch is failed. Let's investigate. I think it should be course issues or something like that. Developer tools. What we see here. Okay, network. Let's try to hit refresh. Loading. And what we have here failed to get the data. So probably I need to rerun my API project. Yeah. So what we got here? No, it's course issue. Okay. So how we can avoid this course situation? We can obviously ask Copilot to fix this course, but we can do another way. For example, on my project, when we have a front-end part interacting with Next.js front-end part interacting with the API, we usually have a proxy endpoint inside the application, yeah, and then front-end make a call to Next.js server, and Next.js server just forward this call to the API. Okay, so what do you think? Should we align just course, or let's do the proxy thing?
Let's create a proxy. Why
okay.
not? Yeah.
So okay.
Or maybe
any variant, fine. It will be done not by our hands.
Yes. Also, I believe we can ask, agent to proposing some solution for resolving some kind of issues, and based on the response, we can choose the most suitable. So it's why you're able to interact with it. Yes, you, of course, since you're engineer, you should think how you can solve this issue, but also you're able to ask, because it's one of the technique related to interacting with agent mode. So you can create a prompt for proposing some solutions from agent and with some pros and cons.
Okay. Yeah, so what it start generating, okay, it generated an API endpoint inside this Next.js application, and we see that it forwards the request to the localhost weather forecast. But I suspect the port number is wrong. Okay, so what we can ask to, and what we have here. We have, okay, the next endpoint. So let's just fix it. Let's just fix the port. Yeah, it's hard coded, obviously not the best practice. So I do believe this is a point when we need to start some refactoring and etc. But yeah, so let's proceed with what we have for now. And yeah, we got our weather forecast displayed on the UI. Okay, so now let's do some. So yeah, let's do some CRUD operations in our backend API, right? So what we need to do, we need to add the database, right, to the API. We need to add entity framework. Probably we need some data sheet to, and finally for the first step, we probably want just to have a get all endpoint with some probably pagination, right? So quite a lot of things to do, but let's start. Okay.
out of curiosity, Artur, do you know if is it possible to see kind of syncing sequence of the steps that Copilot agent applies? Because on one of demos that Microsoft did for GitHub Copilot, like there is a mess with naming, GitHub Copilot agent mode, which runs as GitHub action. There is an option to open this action and see kind of steps and internal syncing, like what he thought during some processing. Is it possible to see the same or something similar in EDA?
Interesting. Maybe it's in preview, or did you see it in Visual Studio Code? Or
No,
no.
It was in GitHub Copilot, which runs as GitHub action on your repository, and it has kind of steps so that it pushes info internally, like artifacts, and there you can see the full chain of syncing, like why it decided to do something.
What to do with this information? I mean, probably okay, you will see those logic or thinking process. What to do with this thing? Do you mean it will be useful to rewrite your question in case of you're not satisfied with the result? Or
well, it might be useful in several cases. For me personally, I find it's useful to not check outputs of ChatGPT or DeepSeek answers, but to check sequence of thinking, like steps or like its internal stuff, like why it decided to propose something. It's not interesting to see something sometimes, but why? And like it might help in learning, and it might help in debugging as well, because you might receive some garbage output, and you will be wondering why, like what's wrong, and then you can adjust your prompt, for example.
You can, I believe, you can use chain of thoughts. For instance, when you ask some question at the end, you can say, please provide some explanation of your.
this is a special model. Any model, right? That is a bit more powerful than mod without this thing.
Okay.
R1 or kind of.
Yeah. So while you guys discussed this thinking models, I actually added an entity framework. Then it started trying to build and failed because there was process run that actually prevented the application from being built. Okay, so what we got? So let's take a look. So what we have here, we have here block DB context added, and we have a connection string in our app settings, and it connects to the local DB instance, and the database is block DB. So let me make sure that it is not occupied. So the database name is available. Actually, let me let's put here something block DB1 because I have block DB already. Okay, what else is here? This is empty block DB context, and yeah, that's all valid, right? Let's keep everything. And folks asked me to use voice prompts. We can try to do that. I'm not sure that my pronunciation will be recognized correctly, but we can try. Okay, so now, yeah, I think we are in the position when we need to add some post entity to the API, and then we probably need to create a migration, entity framework migration, and then we want to probably to add some data seed, and then we will be able to expose this posts endpoint to the world through the API. Okay, so should we try this voice input? Do you think?
Let's try. Why not? This is the interesting.
Okay.
Looks like it is available only on Visual Studio Code, not in the big Visual Studio.
Okay. So, okay, I need to some. Okay, I need to some installation. Okay, let's see. Probably it will be pretty fast. speech extension. Okay.
Will it be able to recognize your emotions, like you are not satisfying?
Is listening. Okay, now I'm going to add some post entities to my API. So please add a post entity, add it to the DB context, then prepare the entity framework migration, and also make sure that we have some seed data. So in a post entity, let's add ID, created date, edit date, topic, text. Okay, so okay.
Enough is enough.
Enough.
You said stop word. Recompile it.
Almost correct. It recognized your speech almost correct.
Okay, so it started installing entity framework global tool, which is probably already installed. This is for migrations, right? So it created post entity, create date, edit date. Okay. Now it wants to generate some migrations. Let's see.
It's interesting that it was able to recognize that you wanted to create a date property and not create a date property. So I
Okay.
kind of corrected your
Now it wants to run
recognized.
the migration. Did we get some data sheet? Yeah, we did. Okay, that's good. That's good. The migration is failed. And what is interesting that it got the error and it tried to fix the error. And now it asked me to add another migration. That's interesting.
It's very interesting because this exact warning was turned into error in latest release of Entity Framework Core. And it was quite annoying for a lot of folks because they had for a long time unapplied changes, and both Microsoft repos from SQL for kind of main EF core and for Postgres were spammed with a lot of like issues regarding this. So they trained it to be able to fix it.
Okay, so now it advertises me to do some CRUD endpoints. So let's see what we got. So it's all valid, right? Not a big fan of this initialization of the create date fields, right? The quality is not good, right? So it's quite hard to recognize. But anyway, so probably let's keep everything. I think we lost some important things. So let's add some fields to the post entity. Let's also add an author, and a Boolean flag is anonymous, right? So we will be able to make some authored posts and anonymous posts. Okay, one more time. Let's try to use voice chat. So now let's add two more fields to our post entity. Let's add the author field, and let's set Boolean flag is anonymous. And also let's make sure we have appropriate migration and data initialization. Okay, data initialization. It stopped tracking my voice. Okay. So author is anonymous. Okay, that's good. Maybe it will be able to. Okay, so it automatically recognizes that it needs to adjust this data sheet. Okay. And now it tries to apply the migration. And it worked. Okay. Okay, so we have migrations executed. That's super cool. And now we are ready to expose some endpoints, right? So let's just expose get all posts endpoint. I think we can also ask to implement some pagination capabilities just to look a little bit more professional.
But don't you want to create after as a separate entity, separate table with one-to-many relations between them? Or should it be as a string for now?
Let's keep it a string, then we will be able to reiterate once we will be there.
Okay, now does it do some commit when you press
it's really hard for me to make a voice prompt when you're talking. Okay, yeah, so Alexander, I can type. And you can ask your question.
My question was, like, does it do any commit when you press keep button, like you agree or something, or everything, all those 7 files changed, still uncommitted? I mean, how to keep your work once you agree with the result?
Yeah, sorry, Alexander, I didn't get your question because I was busy with doing this prompt. But folks, if you got the idea what Alexander was asking, so please answer.
I suppose that by default it doesn't try to commit to your current branch, but you could try to ask it to commit each change once it's approved.
I see. So keep it just merge changes suggested by Copilot into current files. Yeah. That's it. Okay.
So this endpoint looks pretty good, right? So it has a pagination, and the result also quite solid. So it has items and page size, page total count. So like really solid endpoint, right? I like it. Okay, so now let's work on the front-end part, and let's make sure we have a nice user interface, and we have posts displayed on our landing page. Okay, let's try to use a voice prompt. Now let's work on the front-end part. Let's create a nice structure with a header, footer, and a body on all the pages. And on a landing page, let's display all the posts that we have in our API. Also, let's make sure we have a pagination functionality on the landing page when we display post entities. So as you can see, despite of the fact that my prompts are not like really professional according to all the best practices, so we conducted a lot of trainings how to use like GenAI and what should be the shape of your prompts. It still recognizes what I really want to achieve, right? So it still gets me what I asked. That's cool. So that makes this tool very accessible, I would say.
And yes, you know, the speech wasn't recognized correctly, but Copilot recognized it.
Yeah. So what we see here, so we see here posts, API adjustments. So we see here Next.js API, like, so we still, so API URL, right? So it's still hard coded to the same 500 port, which is not correct. But so we can refactor it, right? So we have here a lot of changes on our landing, and it also generated components. It generated header, footer, styles, hard coded. Yeah, so the quality is not good, right? Of the generated solution. So okay, so let's probably adjust this. I don't like this hard coded URL. So Okay, so I want to make sure that this is from the single place. This address is coming from the single place. Okay, now it's better, significantly better. Okay. And probably we can keep everything. So it is in tsconfig. Where is tsconfig? It's here. No, it's not in tsconfig. It's, where is it? Uh-huh. You can override this. Where I need to override. So I need to place this base URL here, right? Or how?
Let's ask. Overwrite it for yourself.
Okay, yeah. It did it. So I think we can keep everything that it generated for me. And now it's time to test. So the front end part is up and running and probably didn't display anything. This is the structure and failed to fetch the post. Now let's ask Copilot to run the API. In watch mode, yeah. So next time when we need to change some things in the API, we will not have to restart it. Okay. So now it will be run with the hot reload capabilities. Okay. So let's see. It's loading some posts. So probably something went wrong. Why it's so long? Okay, we loaded the posts. That's good. That's good. That's good. What else? Should we then add some capabilities to create the posts, or let's generate a post detail page? What's your preference, folks?
Let's generate page. Let's see something.
Okay, so yeah, but we have landing. So you want to be able to click on the particular post and go into details.
Yes.
Okay, so then we need two things. We need get by ID endpoint, and we need a separate page. Okay, let's do that. Now I'm going to work on a post detail page. So for this, I need an API endpoint that allows me to get the post by ID, and also I need a separate page. So each time when I click on the post on a landing page, I'll be navigated to the post detail page. So let's implement this. Okay. So do we have any discussions in the chat, by the way?
Yeah, we have some questions and so on, some suggestions.
Okay.
To generate tests for this functionality.
Integration tests. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the guys ask.
Well, yeah, I mean, we are a little bit limited in time, and we want to achieve some results during the session. So, folks, if this is interesting for you, we can probably arrange one more, because I think we will not be able to achieve everything that we wanted. That is listed here. But yeah, we definitely will get some results, and we've already got some, right? That's impressive what we have at the moment. So what we see here, okay. So it generates here a link, and it also created post page with the routing capabilities. And what we have here, we have a get by ID endpoint. That's good. That's all valid. Let's keep everything. And okay, so now it looks like a link, and okay, it gets post by ID. Post not found. Why post was not found? Okay, so probably the API request was failed. 404 post not found. So maybe we need to restart. Yeah, I think we need to make a restart of the.
To apply a new endpoint.
Okay, let's one more time. Oh, let's see. It is working now. Okay, yeah, we got post detail page, and we got this back to all posts link. Yeah, I mean the UI is not very nice, obviously.
Did you ask to generate this back to all button? Or
I didn't.
Okay.
I didn't.
It's
Okay.
tried to use a beautiful UX experience, yeah.
Okay. So let's then try to implement the create new post functionality, right?
Yes.
So how we are going to do that? So in the header, yeah, let's have a button that will have this create functionality, and once we press on create button, a new model will be open, and in this model we will be able to fulfill the post, and then we will be able to hit create, and then we should see this newly created post. Okay. Again, voice input. Now I'm going to work on create post functionality. For this, I need post endpoint, so I'll be able to submit my post entity. And also I need a button in my header in the front-end application. So once this button is pressed, the model dialog is open, where I'll be able to fulfill all the data for the post, and I'll be able to save the post that I'm going to create. Let's generate this code. A lot of mistakes in my voice-to-text recognition.
It looks like it doesn't matter for it.
It doesn't matter at all, yeah. Oh, okay. So this is post endpoint, yeah, map post, and looks quite valid. Yeah, I just noted your picture, Volodya.
It clearly describes our meeting when we have 100 people sitting and looking at how one agent works.
Yeah, that's true. Okay. So what we got here? Post request. I think this code now requires some refactoring, right? Like it's a lot of like redundant things and etc. But yeah, again, so we are focusing on the functionality today. Okay, so what we have here. So this is create post model, and probably we have. Yeah, we got create post model component. So this is probably a model dialog that will appear once we press create button. Okay. Not sure what it tried to achieve with this set refresh. So yeah, let's keep everything and let's see if we get the desired functionality.
It is trying to refresh main page once the new post added to, to keep them updated in the main page.
Okay. Yeah. So we need again this directive use client. Which file, by the way? To
create post model.
Okay. Because of the React hooks, right?
Mm-hmm.
That are working only. This state hook is only working on in the browser, right? Okay. Now the same situation in the header. Okay, let's put. Okay. Okay, so we have this button. Whew, a little bit nervous about pressing on it. Let's press. Okay, that's not nice.
Almost.
Yeah, what is happening here? Why it's not? It is not looking like a form. Okay, so let's ask Copilot to fix.
So also we can, make a screenshot and say, okay, we have
Yeah,
this
that's
one.
nice.
Yes.
Good idea. So let's capture it and put it as a context. So
Please don't capture my image. It will make it upset.
okay. Newly created model dialog is looking like a text picture. So I think this is wrong. So we need a full form displayed, allowing me to enter all post fields. Please make necessary corrections so the model dialog will display correctly. Let's see.
I like that you're saying please.
Please, please.
So try again. So something went wrong. Probably this is because of the picture attached. Let's try one more time.
Widescreen, it's not correct, yeah.
It was filtered by responsible AI.
It's too offensive.
It's so offensive. Okay. Let's try probably.
Oh, response. Yeah, the response was filtered. Not your request.
It got upset at us.
Okay.
Look like it noticed the picture in the chat.
Model dialog is not looking correctly. Please see attached screenshot. Can we make corrections?
No.
Okay. Is it the time to switch to Claude? Let's try. Okay.
Oh. It's striking what was response from the GPT-4.1 for us because it's filtered.
So it started producing some offensive context. That's
yes.
Okay. Okay. So what was the correction? A lot of styles.
Oh.
Okay. Let's see. It also tries to explain what it did. So that's did this for 4.1 do the same, or it's different for Claude? Let's see. Okay. Text is still.
It installed Tailwind as dependency, but it is not using it in the styles.
Yeah, that's strange.
Because I believe we should ask here for using this one.
Okay, so the labels are, I mean, they are here, but the font color is incorrect. Okay, so I asked to change the font. Labels are here. They are just the font color was wrong. I think it was white and it wasn't visible. So let's see. Okay, title, content appeared. Probably not everything. Author is appeared. Post anonymously is still okay, still the same.
Because it is a label, it is a part of label, probably.
Okay, it's still working. So Claude is definitely slower. What we see here, right? So Claude is slower. Okay. So now, yeah, colors are good. Why? Okay, it's because of the post anonymously. But
cancel.
for the cancel button.
Yeah, cancel button.
Look, you didn't ask about it, but it has the functionality like you are pressing the checkbox. You're restricted to enter author.
Yeah, interesting. I think we need to switch back to 4.1. It worked faster. Okay. And I heard this Claude is very expensive. So what we got finally? Okay, colors are correct now, and let's well, first of all let's skip, and let's try to submit some post title. I'm not, for some reasons I'm not able to focus into. Why I'm not able to focus? Okay. For the entries it's the same. Let's try to switch to 4.1. Please fix the color for entry fields as well, because now it's white and I'm not able to see it. Okay. 4.1 is not working anymore. Should we switch to 4.0?
Can I try to, drop context and restart discussion? Probably it stuck
And
in some loop.
This is what we see. It's doing summarization, conversation. Arthur, what is that?
Yeah, it tries to reduce the number of tokens for sending the request. But okay, it's not so fast because we have a huge context here with a lot of chat history.
Okay, so let's see.
So with each such interaction, it tries to compress existing context?
Yes.
Recompress, okay.
Okay, so let's see if it worked. Yeah, it works. And let's post anonymously. Do some text. Okay, and let's try to create a post. So it failed. Probably I need to restart my API. Oh no, so we got some 500. Why we got 500? So let's try to restart the API.
Probably there is some constraint in database.
Maybe. What would be the constraint? So let's take a look at post endpoint. Looks pretty valid. Post. Okay, let's try one more time. Okay, seems like we created the post, but the page didn't refresh automatically. Yeah, so post is here. So we can ask to adjust. Let's switch to Claude.net. I think it's more reliable than for all. Okay, so let's do the following. After successful post creation, please make sure that the page is refreshed so we are able to see the newly created post on the page. So let's see what we will get. This prompt. So Claude is definitely like more descriptive, and that means we will have to pay more for this for this model. Okay. So what we got? Provider. That's interesting. So it actually what it is trying to do? I
Probably
don't really understand this
tries
context.
to put post into global state available for all companies from
Probably.
context, and then refresh on by force. Let's see.
Okay. So it looked like a small request, but a lot of code changes, right? Interesting. Okay. And now run the command. We probably don't need to run the command, I think, because okay. So it wants for some reasons to restart the application. So let's allow it to restart. Okay. So let's stop the previous instance and run it one more time. So I really like to interact with this chat as like with the orchestrator. So I can ask it not only to generate the code, but also to run API, to run the front end part. So it's like .NET Aspire, right? I would say. And now it tries to run so this is not needed. Okay, let's see if it works. So let's hit refresh. Loading the posts. And let's try to create yet another post. And text here. And okay, so this is this is not fixed yet, right? Okay. It did refresh, and I think it was quite nicely. Right. So I see it's already 12 p.m. So how much time do we have? I think we are actually out of time. So let's just really try one more functionality to implement, and then let's wrap up. I think this is really interesting. This is very useful. I have a lot of thoughts, a lot of outcomes for myself from this session. Folks, let's implement the really last feature. What should we do?
Delete? No?
Delete? Okay. Okay, so let's ask it to implement delete functionality. Let's implement delete functionality. So I'll be able to press on delete button near the post on my page, and the API should allow me to delete the post from the database. I would say my prompts time to time quite messy, but still we are getting the results.
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, so we have delete endpoint generated. Oh, there was a question whether we are getting the whether we are doing the API request after the post creation. So let's see. Hello. It's posted anonymously, and let's clear. Yeah, so as you can see, there was a post, and then there was a get. Okay. So what we are getting here. And let's start reviewing the code. So this is the delete. Okay. This is a proxy endpoint hosted inside Next.js, and it forwards the request to the API. So this is handle post delete post functionality. And where is the button? Do we have the button? Yes, we do. And let's see what we have here. So this is map delete, and there is a not found check. Yes, null check. Yes, so in case if there is no such post in the database, so that's good minimal API endpoint. I mean, for a simple API, really this is good. So okay, so it wants to rebuild. So let's make sure it is. Okay, so run. That's all valid. Let's make sure we have run watch. It's like an orchestrator, as I've already mentioned. So I just ask it to run, and it runs. Okay, so we have this red button. Probably we need to ask also to have a confirmation dialog, but let's see if it works. Let's delete yet another. Okay, so it's a native native confirmation.
Okay.
And it didn't work, right? Or did it? Oh, okay. So it worked. It worked.
Cool.
And so what else we can do to at the very end? So I can share it with you folks. You can use this forwarding capabilities, and we can do the full and participability. Let's make it public. And now I think this is local address. Okay. Okay, so this is live. And so what we did, we created an application during this session that is able to handle some basic CRUD functionality, and we exposed it to the internet through the ports forwarding. So guys, you can create some some posts.
It's interesting that for me it's displayed in a dark mode.
Okay, interesting, yeah. But does it work? Can you create some post?
I'm not sure because
Okay, yeah. So folks started creating some. I posted a link to the chat.
Okay, post.
Perfect.
Yeah, it works.
Okay.
I created post. You can see it at the top.
I see that the pagination is not working, right? So we are able to see only the first page, and
it works if you click on it.
It works
on next and previous labels.
Okay.
If you probably restart because there are more posts.
Okay, it works. Okay. we are flooded with the posts. Okay, so let's try to summarize today's session. Was it useful for you guys? What do you think?
Yes.
At least it is interesting.
It's really interesting. I think
It's worth a try.
it's worth to try. So my current thoughts, this is a good scaffolding tool. It really can produce a lot of boilerplate code for you. The quality of the code is not good from the first attempt. So then you need to allocate some time on doing some refactorings and etc. Also, I think it's a lie that you do not need to learn coding in order to build the applications anymore. So you need to learn how you need to understand how this all the interactions are working, how to implement all the components, how to implement the endpoints, what should be the endpoints to get a really good quality of the application. It's definitely very promising. I think we need some models that are specific to particular programming languages. For example, we need a specific model for the .NET. We need a specific model for the front end, maybe for a specific framework, right? So it will be able to use efficiently, let's say, this Tailwind, which wasn't used. So we added Tailwind, but it wasn't used during this code generation. It was just inline styles. So a lot of area for improvements, but this tool is looking really promising. We are still not in a position when we don't have to learn the programming languages. We need to learn the programming languages, the architecture, but this tool really can speed us up, especially when we are starting working with some new technologies, when we are creating something new. It's worth to have another session when we will try to add some functionality to existing large project. Maybe we will arrange a new one. So folks, if you're really interested in sessions like that, if we need to proceed doing these live coding sessions, I understand that not everything was really smooth. Probably my language skills are not the best. So even this voice recognition didn't work really nicely, but we can proceed, we can try to improve, and we can do a few more iterations of such sessions. Okay, so for now, I think we need to wrap up. Thanks, everyone, and I wish you good luck. Have a great Friday evening and a lovely weekend. Thanks for attending.
Okay, bye-bye.
Thank you, guys. Bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.